This section is on strategies for solving problems. Step 1 is to understand the problem. Step 2, devise a plan. Step 3, carry out the plan. And really important, step 4, look back and check it. Now that sounds easy. All of these you'll find are a little bit different. And typically when I teach this class face-to-face, we try and just have a good time with these because some of these can get very tricky. So on the first one, here's just some hints, okay? You can make a table or a chart. We're going to do that on the first example. You can look for a pattern. Those are typically easier to solve. Solve a similar problem, a simpler problem. We're going to have some like that. Always, if you can, draw a picture. Use inductive reasoning. Write an equation and solve it if that's possible. That's kind of like you're used to in algebra. If a formula applies, use it. Work backwards. Sometimes that's the only way to get it. Or guess and check. I mean, just try a number, see if it works. Keep guessing until you get it narrowed down. Use trial and error, which is very similar to guess and check. Use common sense and look for a catch if the answer seems too obvious. So on the first example, this one is a famous problem. It says a man put a pair of rabbits in a cage. During the first month, the rabbits produced no offspring, but each month thereafter, they produced one new pair of rabbits. If each new pair thus reproduces the same, okay, which means that first month they don't have babies, how many pairs of rabbits will there be at the end of 1 year? All right, so what we want to do is set it up 12 months. We're going by months. The first time you start with one pair. They don't have babies, so at the end of the month you have one pair. So going into the second month, you have one pair. They have one set of babies. At the end of the month, you have two pair. Going into the third month, you start with two pair. Okay, one of those pairs reproduced. So at the end of the month, you have three. Fourth month, three pairs. Two of the previous reproduced. The end of the month, you have five. Okay, next month, you start with five. Three of those pairs are reproducing. At the end of the month, you have eight. The next month, you start with eight, and you have five reproducing. Okay, it's always the number you ended with 2 months ago. You end up with 13. The next month, you have 13. Eight are reproducing. Remember, it's always the number you had at the end 2 months ago because it takes them 2 months to reproduce. Then you end up with 21. Start with 21 on the 8th month. 13 reproduced. So you have 34. Start with 34 the next month. 21 of those will reproduce. And add that together, you have 55. On the 10th month, you start with 55, you end up with 89. The 11th month, you start with 89, you end up with 144. And on the 12th month, at the end of it, you have 233 pairs. This is a perfect example of starting with a chart, some kind of table that you can fill out.